Hello, good afternoon. Now, the warmest of warm welcomes to you. What a marvellous afternoon it promises to be, and what a historic occasion we have for you today. The 100th Scottish Cup final. Celtic and Dundee United set to serve up a real thriller, and we hope a game to match the historic occasion. Celtic, of course, looking for their first major victory under David Hayes' guidance. Jim McLean hoping to set the seal on what has been a long and distinguished career at Tannadice Park. Out at Hampden Park, the preliminaries are just underway nicely. Pipe bands out here, the crowd are gathering, of course. And our commentary team at Hampden Park this afternoon will be Jock Brown, who's been plotting the entire Scottish season for us, home and away, all through the year. And joining him for the first time this afternoon will be Kenny Dalglish. And we hope to talk to Kenny Dalglish shortly. Here in the Cup Final studio with me this afternoon, two men who know all about the excitement that Cup Finals can bring. Jock Wallace on the right, the Rangers manager, of course, and Alan Gordon, who enjoyed a very distinguished career playing his football both in Edinburgh and in Dundee. I think an important question to begin with, Jock, what kind of game can we expect to see this afternoon?
I think it'll be a very tight game in the first 20 minutes. And also it's going to be important for the first goal, who gets the first goal, because if Celtic get the first goal, it gets the fans right behind them, and Celtic as a team respond to that immediately. So I think that that's going to play an important part in the game. But also the match fitness of the players. Celtic have had one or two injuries, and that's what I feel could be a big decider.
Yes, I was going to ask you that, Alan. Do you think, in asking you what you think the match will be, if in fact this fitness question could be a significant factor this afternoon?
I think it will be, Arthur, because it's the end of the season, and they've had a hard season, an arduous season, both teams, but they're looking forward to the occasion. I think, as Jock said, it'll be a tight game, but I don't think fitness will play, that important a part. I think that'll take care of itself. I think the main thing is there are many skillful players on the park, and once the game does settle, and maybe the first goal falls to either side, I think we're in for a very good cup final because of the skill that's available.
Right, I'll get back to you shortly before kick-off time for a forecast, but a moment that we always like to show you on Cup Final Day, and that's the moment that the teams arrive. Let's go out now to Hampden. We recorded this just about 2:05, just when the teams got there. First, a look at Dundee United as they arrived at Hampden. Jim McLean very quickly off the bus, and the entire coaching staff seem to be here today. Gordon Wallace is there, as you can see. Walter Smith coming out just behind here. And, of course, look out for the familiar figure of little Kenny Cameron. He's Walter Smith coming out. Now, Kenny Cameron's there as well. And one or two of the players beginning to come out there of the Dundee United bus. The players look remarkably calm, one has to say. They look very relaxed and very confident indeed. Paul Starkin, you can see David Neary looking quite relaxed, and Paul Hegarty. What an important day it will be for him, and Tommy Coyne coming out. And we'll have to find out if Tommy Coyne is playing, or indeed if he'll be on the bench. We'll be getting the teams to you just as soon as we get them from our team out at Hampden Park. Well, what about Celtic? One wonders what their thoughts must have been over the last couple of days at Seymour as they prepared for, obviously, their biggest match of the season. Let's take a look at Celtic now, arriving at Hampden Park just after 2 o'clock. Well, there we are, Brian Scott with all those bags of his, manager David Hay, Frank Connor, of course, the member of the backup team, and there's Jim Steele with his familiar green tracksuit on there. He's the man who keeps things going in the dressing room. Danny McDrain, 4 cup medals, Murdo McLeod there. Pat Bonner clutching what appears to be his jersey. Davy Provan, who may play a significant part today. Tommy Burns, Roy Aiken, wonder what's going through his theirs today. Peter Latchford, Tom McAdam coming out, Morris Johnson, and finally Paul McStay. Well, as I say, the players are now comfortably ensconced in the dressing rooms, and one wonders just what, in fact, the managers will be saying to them. There might be time to get a comment from Jock Wallace in just a moment. But right now we're going to take a break, in fact, because we've got a lot still to get through before we get to kick-off time at Hampden Park, and we hope to talk to Kenny Dalglish. But that's coming up right after this break. Welcome back to Cup Final Scotsport, and let's go straight over now to Hampden Park, where our match commentator Jock Brown has, I think, got first news of the teams. Jock, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Arthur. Yes, the teams just announced. They were left to the very last minute by both managers, and out in the field you see Jock Stein being welcomed by the Minister of Health, John Mackay. This is the presentation of the former winning captains. So some very famous players out there in the field. The team news this afternoon, one shock in the Dundee United side is that John Holt has been left out, and the United side is McAlpine, Malpass and Beattie, Gough, Hegarty, Neary, Bannon, Milne, Kirkwood, Sturrock and Dodds, with John Holt and Tommy Coyne on the bench. And the Celtic side, the men unlucky in the Celtic squad are Pierce O'Leary and Brian McClare, who are on the bench, and the Celtic side is Bonner, Willie McStay and McGrain, Aiken, McAdam and McLeod, Provan, Paul McStay, Johnston, Burns and McGarvey. Presentation, this is the 1957 captain. That was Ralph Collins, who was right back in the Kilmarnock side, and that match they lost to Falkirk. John Prentice, former Scotland manager, who was in the 1958 final. Clyde played Hibs, Clyde winning by 1-0. So these old favourites getting a very warm welcome here at Hampden in perfect conditions. And that's Harry Haddock, a famous Clyde and Scotland left back of the 50s. But to remind you of the teams, this is the big news we're waiting for. 2:30 when both managers released information. The United side again is McAlpine. The back four looks to be Malpass, Hegarty, Neri and Goff. Beattie will be in midfield with Bannon, Kirkwood and perhaps Ralph Milne, who'll be wide on the right alongside Paul Sturrock and Davy Dodds up front through the middle. The Celtic side will be Pat Bonner in goal, Willie McStay, Roy Aiken, Tom McAdam and Danny McGrain in the back four. In midfield will be McStay, McLeod and Burns, with Provan, Johnston and McGarvey in attack. So that's the latest situation here at Hampden Park, Arthur. Just about 18 minutes to kick off. Back to the studio here.
Thank you very much, Jock. Jock Brown there with the first news of the Cup final lineups, and we'll have captions for you shortly, just to let you see who plays where, particularly if you've got a sweep like we have here in the studio to know what numbers you've got. Right now, though, it's time to catch up on the pools news, because although our season has ended, there's a lot happening on the other side of the world, and here are today's Australian pools results.
And we begin with the score draws, which are number 4, Doveton, 7, Sunbury, 14, Waverley, 24, Greensborough, 32, Osborne Park, and 46, Campbelltown. There are no score draws, but the away wins are number 2, St Albans, 3, Doncaster, 5, Kew Park, 6, Nuna Wadding, 10, Keilor, 11, South Melbourne, 15, Corio, 17, Keringal, 20, Port Melbourne, 21, Yalloon, 22, Border, 29, Athena, 30, Azuri, 31, Balga, 35, Cockburn, 38, Morley, 39, Rockingham, 40, Bedford United, 41, Leaderville, 42, Mount Lawley, 44, Swan Athletic, 47, Croatia, 48, Para Hills, 50, Whyalla, 52, Baden, and finally 54, Dara.
Those unfamiliar names that are going to become increasingly familiar throughout the summer, and I hope that along the way you might get 8 score draws all in the one week. I certainly hope that we do. Right, gentlemen, a comment on those teams that we heard just a few minutes ago from Jock Brown. Jock Wallace first, what do you think?
Well, I sort of visualised Jim would play that team, and also visualised David Hay would play that team, the Celtic team, the way in a 4-3-3 and a 4-4-2 for Dundee United. I still got a feeling for Dundee United. I've seen them in the warm-up behind the captaincy, and they're very relaxed and they're very composed looking. I feel that if they get past the first 50 minutes, they could go on and win the cup. But a Celtic, nobody can dispute Celtic's ferocious fighting spirit in cup finals, and that's going to be a big factor in the game. I know Alan talks about skill, but sometimes it goes beyond the skill thing in a cup final. Right.
Thoughts about the team first of all, Alan?
I think fairly predictable, Arthur, especially the Dundee United side. Obviously, Pierce O'Leary is going to be a bit disappointed being left on the bench, but Tom McCarram has an awful lot of experience. I would say that the United side might play a different formation, as Jock has said, against Celtic, but with Ralph Milne and Sturrock and Bannon up front, as well as the threat of Davy Dodds, they're going to have an awful lot of firepower. But I did see Celtic at Tynecastle, Jock, just 2 or 3 weeks ago, And on a very difficult surface, they played attractive football and looked very fit and eager for it as well.
Well, the only doubt in my mind about Celtic is their match fitness of McGrane and Burns and guys like that. But they have a tremendous pride and fighting spirit in them, and I think it's going to be a very, very tight game.
OK, it promises to be a marvellous match. And incidentally, for those of you wondering about Wembley and that other cup final between Everton and Manchester United, we will, as usual, have a visual report. That was the best of the first half action at our half-time, and of course the pick of the second half action from Wembley at the end of our Scottish Cup final. And talking of Wembley, one player who knows all about the particular thrill of a cup final, although strangely enough, he actually hasn't got an FA Cup medal, is Kenny Dalglish. He is on our match commentary team this afternoon with Jock Byrne. Just after he arrived at the ground, he had a quick word with our reporter, Ian Archer.
Kenny, how does it feel to be here and not playing?
I'm getting quite used to it. This is the second time I've been up. I wish I had a cup final to play myself in England today, but it's not to be, so this is second best, and I just hope it's as good a result for Celtic as it was the last time.
What's it like coming out that tunnel on cup final day? I mean, it must be one of the great moments in a player's career.
It's not so bad coming out of the tunnel, it's the build-up to it. The busiest place in the dressing room, both dressing rooms over the toilets. It's just, I don't know, you can't explain it unless you've been in it. It's just the stomach's churning over and your legs are going and everything. What about today's game? I mean, obviously, you're supposed to be neutral as part of our commentary team, but I suppose deep down you'll be wanting Celtic to win. Well, obviously, I had a great time at Celtic, and they were always very, very good to me, both the club and the fans. And obviously, if they're involved in a game, I'd like them to win. But at the same time, we've got to appreciate Dundee United and appreciate the work that Jim McLean has done for Dundee United. The game itself, I haven't seen a lot of either team, so I'm not really in the best position to judge it. What about one or two players to look out for? I mean, if you were with Celtic, who would you be a wee bit bothered about in the Dundee United side? Well, obviously, Paul McStay and Maurice Johnson. I think you have to look towards them. Daniel will be doing as usual. He'll be wholehearted performance, and he'll make sure that there's nothing less than 125% from anybody. Dundee United have got Paul Sturrock, and really the only lads that I know are the lads that are in the Scottish squad. Maurice Malthus, David Nary's been in the squad, and Paul Heggett, he's a bit dangerous at set pieces. So we've got a perfect day for it, Kenny. I mean, finally put you on the spot, a prediction and a scoreline. I don't know about the scoreline. I hope Celtic win. I don't know who's going to win, but I hope it's Celtic because of the time that I spent there when I was younger.
Kenny Dalglish looking very happy and relaxed, and not much doubt about who he thinks will win the 1985 Centenary Scottish Cup. Well, let's take a close look at the two teams. And first of all, Sally McNair with Celtic. She's out at Parkhead, and she talks first of all to David Hay, who's just outside the team bus. How did he feel about the big game?
Hard game because United are a first-class side, but as I've said all along, it's really vital that Celtic win.
Well, you haven't had a good win for a long time. Do you think that really this season you maybe lost your form a bit after that bad Rapid Vienna match at Old Trafford?
Yeah, I think it took a lot out of the players, to be honest, because we were going really well, and to have a quarter-final place taken away from you, it took a lot out of them. And when you watched the game against Everton the other night there, I think some of the players were saying, well, that could have been us, and I think we'd have put up a better show than Rapid did.
Everybody's very confident. We've prepared well, and there's no excuses for us not winning.
Your record against Dundee United this season hasn't been that hot.
Yeah, but I think this is a one-off game. It's different, and we're more used to playing in cup finals than Dundee United, and that's going to be important.
The ground is changing also with the North Stand away. The crowd perhaps can't hear them as loudly as before, the ground conditions. But the build up to the game, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, it's a tremendous atmosphere.
It's going to be a hard game. The United are a good side, but I think we've got better players than them. And if we play well enough on the day, then we'll come out.
But at this point in the season, you've played each other so often. Is it not coming down to a battle of wits, really, at the end of it all?
I don't know. I think the cup finals are one-off game, so I don't think previous games will come into it, really. When it comes to the cup final, it's just who plays well on the day. It's only 90 minutes, really. So we'll look to play well.
Who do you think the biggest dangers are?
I think the 11 United players that's playing, they've got a good goalkeeper who won the Player of the Year award, first-class defence, good work in midfield, and 3 good frontmen. So their team in general could cause us all sorts of problems. But if we attack as we can do and score our chances when they come along and don't score them, and defend probably as well as we've done all season, then hopefully the cup will come to Celtic Park.
Of course, you yourself have tried to sign both Sturrock and Dodds in the past.
That's true, but I don't think Jim McLean was too keen to let them come to Celtic Park, and if they're listening just now, lads, you missed out on a few quid.
But you've got the very opposite image of Jim McLean. He's very hot-headed, shall we say, on the day. You've got a very cool image. Do you really feel as cool as you look?
No, not really. So a front, to be honest. Like, he's older than me anyway, you know, and he's been in the game longer. That's probably why he's a bit uptight. And I find the longer I'm getting the game, I'm maybe turning to the likes of Jim McLean or that. Like, no, we're different people and we react differently, you know, and we manage different clubs.
We realised it was a hard task to catch Aberdeen in the league all through the season. But now the cup final, it's a one-off game, gives us a good chance to win the cup.
Feeling pretty confident. Where's the biggest danger, do you think?
Biggest danger? Probably our two wide men, Milne and Bannon. I think they'll be our biggest danger.
You'll be marking them, all right?
No, we'll send Danny onto them. The old man will run after them.
I think we're attacking side as well, so I think the fans will see a good attacking open game, maybe with a few goals, but I just hope it's a Celtic victory at the end of the day.
Yeah, great one to win. I think everyone, both sets of teams have got a duty to make it a showpiece, and I'm sure it will be.
Confident prediction there, and it certainly looks like being a great match. Well, what about Dundee United? They've tried so hard to win the Scottish Cup. They've been there before. In fact, they lost to Celtic in the 1974 final, you remember. Well, Sally McNair's been through to Dundee to meet the Dundee United team and the players and the manager. Jim McLean, who are the Celtic men he's watching out for today?
Well, I think that they've a lot of class players, and there's no one that I would pick out individually well ahead of others. But if you want me to throw in a few names, then obviously Maurice Johnson, Davy Provan, Tommy Burns, and I hope that Bonar doesn't play too well, and I hope he's very busy.
But you've played Celtic 5 times this season, and not a bad record. 2 draws, but 2 wins.
Well, I honestly don't look at records because there's some that obviously we're quite happy with, and there are others we don't. And I don't think that records mean anything at all. For instance, this season, people said that we would lose to St Mirren because we'd never beaten them, so we hammered them 4-1. They said also that we would go out to Aberdeen because we'd never beaten them in the Scottish Cup. We beat them, so as far as I'm concerned, records mean nothing. They're only there to be broken, and it's nice to feel that we're going into the match knowing that we can beat Celtic. That is important from our players' point of view, and I know that they believe that they can win it on Saturday.
Of course, your career very nearly ended just a few years ago in '79 when you were injured playing for Scotland against Norway. Did you ever think that you might not be playing football again?
I always thought you'd always make a comeback, because if you don't have that sort of attitude to come back, you know, you're better just packing it in, really, you know. So you've always got to sort of just take each day as it comes, and then hope it's going to come good in the end of the day.
Richard Gough, you're another one who almost left us for sunnier climes, and now you're playing for Scotland in a Scotland jersey. You very nearly went back to South Africa, though.
I did go back. I went back for 7 weeks, I think, but I was managed to be persuaded to come back and try my luck again, and it's all worked out very well.
What does it mean for you now, then, playing for Dundee United in a game like this and playing for Scotland?
Oh, it's a very big honour, very big honour.
How do you think you'll do against Celtic? You had a great goal against Celtic at Parkhead in December.
Well, I hope it results a similar one. I hope I get another goal just like that one as well.
One thing I will be saying, as I've been saying recently, that in football, especially with provincial clubs, if you don't get it today, there's next to no chance of you getting it tomorrow. And I would hope that the players approach this match that it's their last chance of winning the Scottish Cup. It most certainly is this season, and to be realistic, it might be some of their last chances. So we've got to approach it with that determination, and if they do that, then Celtic will need to play exceptionally well to beat us.
And there we are. Let's go straight now to Hampden Park, the moment you've all been waiting for, Dundee United and Celtic coming out side by side. How marvellous to see it, an absolutely superb scene there, and a big crowd inside the ground for the match. Referee Brian McGinley. Well, we don't need to tell you which end of the field that is. I wonder if when the players line up there, Jock Wallace, what exactly is going through their heads? What are they thinking of right now, I wonder?
Well, I think they'll just be psyched up for the game, wanting the game to start, get the preliminaries over and just get on with the game. That's how I feel at that particular time.
Right. Alan, what about last-minute thoughts about the match? You're both tipping Dundee United, but what do you think right now?
I'm looking for a very good game of football, Arthur. I think a few goals once the game settles. I've got to stick with Dundee United. I think Brian McGinley will have an easy task today. I would think he'll be looking for an early opportunity to establish his authority in the match, but certainly lots of skill, lots of good football, and if the teams play to form the way they have done this season, then I've got to stay with Dundee United.
Right, let's take a look at the teams then. We've got them ready now as that magnificent view comes in there. McAlpin, there we are, Malpass, Beattie, Goff, Hegarty, Mary, Bannon, who of course would probably operate wide on the other side of the pitch, but there's number 7, Milne, Kirkwood, Sturrock and Dodds, and that's one would have to say, I think, Jock, that that's as close to Dundee United's most powerful lineup as one could manage.
That's the team I picked for Dundee United. Yeah. That to me is their best team at this moment in time.
Right, and the Celtic lineup, Alan, here again, David Hay really hasn't had too much to think about with that side. And the experience of McAdam clearly playing a significant part in his thoughts.
I think so. Pierce Lewis will be disappointed not to take the field at the kick-off, but at the same time he is on the bench, he could come on. But the Celtic midfield of Paul McStay, Murdo McLeod and Tommy Burns is really formidable after when you think about it. So having said Dundee United are a good side, I've also got to say that Celtic are right in there, and with that kind of midfield, especially a powerhouse like Murdo McLeod, I think they're well in with a chance as well. But two very predictable sides, I think.
Right. Well, one of the delightful things about the Hampden scene today was a parade of former Scottish Cup champions, Scottish Cup captains, and Brian McGinley there just quietly contemplating the scene. He'll be in charge, as Alan Gordon says. He reckons he'll have a very comfortable afternoon. Let's hope so. But one of the nice things about today was the parade of the former captains. We right back to 1938, John Snedden, 1939, Harry Beaton, Fight and Lop of Aberdeen after the war, Jimmy White and Jock Shaw, who clashed, of course, in the Morton Rangers game of 1948, and a very special welcome for one former Celtic captain, Kenny Dalglish. Just listen to the arrival of Kenny Dalglish here when he came out to take his bow. Marvellous. And if Kenny Dalglish can hear us, I think Alan Gordon and Jock Wallace would perhaps like a quick word with him, but in fact he's not. He's on his way up, is he? Fair enough. Jock Brown, what do the conditions look like at Hampden this afternoon for you? What are the conditions today?
The conditions, Arthur, look absolutely ideal for a splendid game of football, and with the two sides we have on the field and the conditions which are prevailing, I think you really couldn't have a better prospect for a top-class football match. We know that cup finals frequently can be disappointing, nervy occasions, but the setting so far and the build-up has been such that hopes are very high indeed that we'll have a top-quality match.
Well, Mr. John Mackay, the Minister for Health and Social Work at the Scottish Office, meeting the teams, and of course today's match sponsored by the Scottish Health Education Group. And of course every player in the 100th Scottish Cup final will actually receive 2 medals today. That's the unusual thing, because to commemorate the 100th final, the Cup sponsors have commissioned 100 souvenir medals to mark the occasion. What a marvellous thought. Right, you two are tipping Dundee United. I tipped Dundee United to beat Aberdeen in the semi-final, but I have a funny feeling that in fact Celtic might just nip this one. David Hayes talked about the need to win this one, particularly for his fans, and I think that Celtic might just share it. It may need extra time, but we'll have to wait and see how that works. Kenny Dalglish is there now. Jock Wallace, I think you'd like to welcome him back to Scotland and say hello to Kenny.
Yes, hello Ken. Welcome back, and you're looking good.
Can you hear it? Can you hear us, Kenny? Kenny Dalglish, I don't think he's hearing us. If he's hearing us, we're not, in fact, hearing him. Can you hear us, Kenny? We can hear the pipes beautifully.
There's a problem for Kenny getting his headphones on at the moment.
Oh,
He's just
sorry,
getting in
Jock.
beside me after battling up through the crowds after that presentation of Cup final captains. We'll be with it very shortly indeed, but he's just getting into position now with sweat on the brow. And Kenny, you just got into position, a big occasion. Are you happy to be here with us again?
Yeah, it's great to come and see the Scottish Cup final. I wish I'd played in a game at Wembley myself, but it's not to be. And it's a tremendous occasion for all the players out there today.
And that welcome you got, I think, out in the field as going on as a former captain must have been special for you.
When I went to the Manchester United ground this year to watch the Rapid Vienna Celtic game, I got a tremendous reception as well. And it's always very nice to be received like that.
So the Dundee United manager Jim McLean goes back into his seat in the stand. Remember, he can't go into the dugout as the sides break off to continue the warm-up for the start of the match. Pictures of the Celtic end far to our right, packed as you would expect, with the pipe band still in the field and the crowds now anticipating the kick-off. Well, United players warming up. And the smaller crowd, in fairness, is on the west terracing. That's where the United fans have congregated. But they're certainly here to enjoy the occasion. They made plenty of noise so far. And in these very smart tracksuits, the Dundee United side, there it is. The big surprise for me at any rate is the absence of John Holt, who's been such a fine player for them all season. But the performance of Stuart Beattie in the semi-final, particularly that replay against Aberdeen at Tynecastle, earning him his place in the side. And there is Beattie. Remember that second goal he scored for United at Tynecastle in the semi-final, and that sparked off by a magnificent midfield display of football. That's earned them his cup final place. The Celtic side, unlucky player perhaps, is Brian McClair, who's on the bench, having scored 24 goals this season. But that apart, the team pretty much, I think, as expected for Celtic, with McStay, the McStay brothers playing, Willie McStay and Danny McGrain at full back, with Tom McAdam back in the side, and the unlucky central defender out is Pierce O'Leary. Well, Mo Johnston took part in the FA Cup final for Watford a year ago against Everton at Wembley, and makes it a double this afternoon, playing up front for Celtic. The oldest player in the field, he won't thank me for saying that, Hamish McAlpine, the United goalkeeper, Scotland's Football Writers Player of the Year, and playing in his second cup final, but looking for his first winner's medal. The oldest player in the Celtic side, 35 years old, Danny McGrain, the Celtic captain, has 4 cup-winning medals, and he will be a very important player this afternoon for Celtic. It's the 4th Scottish Cup final for Brian McGinley, the referee, very experienced official, recognised, I think, generally now as Scotland's top referee, and of course the accolade of being awarded the final again signifies that that's the way the SFA view matters also. So the conditions could not be better. Blue sky, pitch in excellent condition. It's Celtic who will start the match. And you can hear the singing round the stadium, mainly from the Celtic supporters, I think it's fair to say. The referee Brian McGinley checks his watch, and the 100 Scottish Cup final is underway. So Celtic in possession at the start. Davy Provan playing the ball forward, and that's Paul Hegarty's challenge on Mo Johnston. Stay going forward. That's Roy Aitken, and that's caught Mo Johnston offside. So United have the free kick. David Neary with the free kick. Dodds did well to keep it in. So United normally can be depended upon to play well when they get a good start to the match. Their best performances this season in the games which really matter against Celtic and Aberdeen and Rangers have come when they've had a very good opening spell for the first 10 minutes or so, when they pick up the pace and take the initiative, and I'm sure that's what manager Jim McLean has in mind this afternoon. So Celtic will clearly have something to say about that. There's Gordon McLeod. Now Aitken. Bannon brought down by McStay. A late challenge by the international midfield player. So United free kick. Played in by Malpass. There's Davy Dodds, back to Bannon. Well, that wasn't a bad snap chance at the edge of the box for Eamon Bannon. Was well set up by United, and Bannon may be regretting the way he struck that ball. The long free kick from Malpass, that's well taken by Davy Dodds with a header inside, and Bannon really might have done better with a shot.
I think you've been unlucky with the strike he made, and it might just have been a little bit early in the game, but sometimes when it's early in the game you've got to take the chances.
So Bannon, perhaps one of the most accurate strikers of the ball around the penalty area, missing that good opening chance. Goff and McGrain clash. It's with Ralph Milne. Well, United have possession, and that ball forward from Goff is cut off by McAdam. McGrain to Barnes. Provan in good position. McGarvey and Johnston on the right, and a fine tackle by Hegarty. Well, the tackling's tough enough, all right, in the early stages. No prisoners being taken. Well, Aitken did well as Dodds closed in. Paul McStay under pressure from Beattie. And that's a well-judged tackle by McAdam. Burns on the break. Pass in front of Willie McStay. United have started with Richard Gough at right back and Maurice Malpass at left back, despite wearing that number 2 jersey.
I think the grass is a bit long, Jock, and I think it maybe find the players take a couple of minutes to get used to it. The start of the game will be very tense, and I think it's strange pitch as well, the length of the grass at this time of the season. It could find a problem. Early doors, but they'll get used to it. It's been a great start, full of excitement, and the tackling's great as well. There's not been a dirty tackle yet, although it's been a lot of commitment.
Yeah, I think that's an important point, actually. A lot of tough tackles, but none really to take any exception to, apart from the one which Paul McStay was penalised for. There's BD. Well, he fairly likes these shots on the volley around the box. For a long time before we forget the one which finished up beating Aberdeen in the semi-final replay. £90,000 from St Johnstone, Stuart Beattie cost, and already proving good value. Paul McStay's head flick. There's Malpass. Good forcing run from Malpass, showing a lot of confidence. Couldn't find Bannon on the left, but Morden McLeod has been penalised for his tackle. Didn't appear to be a great deal in that, but Malpass showing a lot of pace and confidence coming forward. And that's earned United the free kick. Bannon and Beattie over the ball. Paul Hegarty's in the box, but that's an easy one for Bonner. Gough and Hegarty were committed, and Bonner, I think, was hoping to start a Celtic attack with that clearance. There's 7 internationals in the United side. There's no reason in the world why they should be overawed by the occasion. Bannon is playing well in field in the opening stages of the match, looking after Paul McStay. Tends to play wide on the left flank in midfield, but so far in the match he's played much nearer the middle. That's Tom McAdam's free kick. Gough is penalised. McGarvey wants to take the free kick in a hurry. Leaves it now to Burns. Or Davy Provan. Provan coming across. He can be very accurate indeed with this in-swinging cross from the right. And that almost caught out the United defence. Mo Johnston making the run towards the near post, while the attention was being drawn by Aitken and McAdam and Willie McStay on the far side. Some good inventive play there from Celtic, Kenny.
They were a little bit unlucky there. It could have bounced either way. I'm not sure if Morris touched it, it was a defender, but I don't think they'd have worried about it if it had ended up in the back of the net. It was quite a good free kick.
Dodds with a header, returned by McAdam. Beattie and McStay clash. It breaks for McLeod initially, but Davy Dodds coming back to help in midfield. It's well taken by Bonner. Paul Sturrock was the United player closing in. We've seen very little of Sturrock so far in the match. So skidding off the head of Maurice Johnston for a United goal kick. So the rain has started to fall here at Hampden. I don't think the players will be too upset about that, Kenny.
I tell you, it just puts a nice little shine on the pitch, and it might make the game a little bit quicker. Might make the tackles a bit fiercer as well.
Paul McStay's header. Hegarty to Dodds. Hegarty again. Breaks for McLeod. Here's Burns. It's all very congested in the middle of the field. Back it goes to Willie McStay. Now pass, playing it forward, and the late challenge by Willie McStay is picked up by referee McGinley. It's unfortunate because there did appear to be a good advantage to be played there, but the referee obviously intent on keeping a tight grip on the match in the opening stages. David Neary with the free kick. A header from McAdam. Here's Beattie, trying to beat the offside trap. The Celtic defence pushed out. But Bonner also well off his goal line. Here's McGarvey. It's well read by Neary. Dodds. Well tackled by Roy Aitken. Wallace Johnston is offside. United were pushing out very quickly behind that bit of play in midfield. But Johnston was isolated, and David Neary again take the free kick, this time shot to Hegarty. Now Kirkwood, tackled immediately by Barnes. There's still very few signs of quality service reaching the front players on either side. Neary to Beattie. That was intended for Richard Gough, but McGrain is there. Barnes to McLeod. Willie McStay taking up good position. That was a fine pass from McLeod. It was intended for Johnston. For the United goal kick. Both sides getting a bit of a problem getting width into the play in midfield, Kenny.
I think both Tommy Burns and Eamon Barney could go a little bit wider when the teams have got the ball to give their own players a bit of an option to find them.
McAdams clearance, McGarvey giving chase, down goes Hegarty. There was no free kick, but McAlpine sorted out any arguments. Dodds challenging Aitken. So a very brisk opening period in the final. And the noise coming from the East Terracing where the Celtic supporters are congregated. Well, United certainly have given nothing away in the opening stages. It's that one dangerous free kick from Davy Provan causing problems. But here's a chance now for Celtic. And the cross from McStay was too long, but Kirkwood's pass back gives the corner kick to Celtic. And that's an opportunity for Tom McAdam and Roy Aitken to come forward. So Roy Aitken right in the heart of things as Provan takes the short corner to Burns. There's Provan again. Now Morden McLeod. The United defence pushing out. Davy Dodds back in defence. Only Paul Sturrock left upfield by United. Willie McStay under a lot of pressure. He did well. Bit of slackness there at the back from Celtic. Gough trying to get to the pitch of the ball. Here's Provan. Back to McLeod. Willie McStay is the only player available on the right for McLeod. Now Burns. Well, that certainly was a rash tackle from Billy Kirkwood. He committed himself very early on and went straight through the tackle. Well, this is one which Tommy Burns certainly did not enjoy. Kirkwood totally committed, Burns beating him easily. And referee McGinley content to administer a warning to the United player. Tommy Burns getting treatment. The black armbands, incidentally, mark of respect for those who died in the Bradford City disaster last week. So Burns is back on his feet and Morden McLeod's getting some treatment. Well, Billy Kirkwood really has no complaint at all about getting a warning for that, and in some eyes he may be considered lucky not to be booked. McStay to McGarvey. Now Paul McStay. Dodds back in defence, still only Sturrock up front for United. Willie McStay's cross. Ralph Milne back in defence also with the clearance. Here's Danny McGrain again. On McLeod. Paddy McLeod very strong on the ball as he comes forward. Now Corbin. Paul McStay, the tackle goes from Dodds. And then from Beattie on McLeod. McGarvey back to McStay. The tackle this time came from David Neary. Well driven shot by Tommy Burns. Could have caused problems for McAlpine. He took it well. Sturrock, Kirkwood. Dodds back in attack. Won by Willie McStay in the air. There's Hegarty. Now Bannon. Neary coming forward. Got Sturrock off balance, and here's Tom McAdam for Celtic. Sturrock going in behind McAdam, taking on Aiken for pace. Goal kick is given. Sturrock is upset, but very difficult indeed, Kenny, to take on Roy Aiken for pace in that situation.
Especially if you haven't got any space to go by him, man. I think, well, in the last minute there was just a typical example, I think, how the game will go. Celtic were attacking in numbers, and Dundee United broke it up, came up the park, and Willie McStay got a great header in because Eamon Bannon was behind him, looking in case there was any danger. I think that's typical of how Dundee United play.
Well, back now with Hamish McAlpine, and Richard Gough putting off immediately to provide an option for the throw out. The pass missing out Ralph Milne. The rain still falling heavily here at Hampden, but certainly not dampening the enthusiasm of the big crowd inside the stadium. Barnes going in heavily on Beattie. The handshake welcomed, no doubt, by referee McGinley. Barnes perhaps reacting a little to the knock he took a moment or two ago from Billy Kirkwood. David Neary. There's Sturrock with a chance for United. Still has possession, but has he lost the chance? Bannon. Cleared by McAdam. Well, a great opportunity there for Paul Sturrock. He hesitated inside the box when he may have done better to have the first time shot. United remain on the attack. It certainly was just a glimmer of a chance in the box for Sturrock. It's gone behind for the goal kick. A chance for Paul Sturrock, Kenny.
They were a bit fortunate getting the break of the ball. I don't know whether one of the United lads handled it or not, but certainly Paul just got caught a little bit with the skin on top of the surface. I think that's really what beat him more than anything else. But it must be quite encouraging for the United to have created it.
The playing surface undoubtedly changing character a little with this rainfall. Just making it a little more difficult to judge the passes and control the ball for a moment or two until the players adjust. An offside decision against Paul Sturrock gives Celtic the free kick, taken short by McAdam to McGrain. There's McGarvey. Hegarty missed out Kirkwood with the pass from defence. That gives Celtic the chance to keep up the pressure on the United defence. McGarvey. The header came from Hegarty. There's Beattie. And Kirkwood under pressure all the time from McGarvey. Got no peace at all from the Celtic striker. But he has won the throw for United. Lucky break for Sturrock, getting the ball back to Milne, but it's with McStay for Celtic. Good control and a pass to Willie McStay. The linesman indicating to the referee that a hand was used by David Dodds, so a free kick to Celtic. Now Provan. United with 10 players now back in defence. Willie McStay's cross. Paul McStay. The interception was from Bannon. McGarvey with Neary, and McAlpine is there under pressure from McGarvey. The referee waving play on as McAlpine has possession. It may have been a free kick, I think, for the challenge by McGarvey had McAlpine not retained possession. There's the United captain, Paul Hegarty. Milne got the touch. McAdam penalised for the challenge on Sturrock. Celtic bench. David Hay, the manager, looking for his first trophy success in his 2 years in charge at Celtic Park. Goff is in the box. Well judged by David Neary. Paul McStay playing it through the middle, inviting Johnston to give chase. Well taken down by Goff as Johnston closed them down. This is Hegarty. Milne trying to get behind McGrain. Well, a very athletic clearing header from the Celtic captain. Sturrock. Now Goff. Very tight in the right flank there for United. McGrain with a tackle on Milne. Both sides getting a lot of players back in defence whenever they lose possession. Richard Goff. Sturrock going through with Aiken marking him very closely indeed. That was good defending by Roy Aiken.
Good play by the United as well. As you say, Big Roy did really well there. But that's what it's all about. It's not really just the ball that guys up the head. It's the next one that Celtic have got to look after for Sturrock.
Willie McStay with the clearance for Celtic. So it's out for the Celtic throw. So no scoring here at Hampden after 20 minutes of the Scottish Cup final. And the same situation at Wembley. Everton 0, Manchester United 0. We'll keep you up to date with all the action there as it happens. So some good cup tie football here in the opening quarter of the match, but still no goals. See McGarvey there losing his footing on the greasy surface. Dodds with a layoff for Sturrock. Good play from United again. That's for Bannon. That was well read by Tom McAdam. He spotted the run from Eamon Bannon, and his tackle ricocheted off Bannon for the Celtic goal kick. There's been some good quality defending, Kenny.
I think it's not only at the back they've been defending, midfield as well. There's not been much, many inches given or none received either. They're both midfield players, or midfield lineups in both parties are picking up very tightly and competing very well. And it's the same to be said for the back four, but the back four like they've got out there, you wouldn't expect anything else.
Roy Aiken pushing forward this time, linking up with McGarvey. Now Provan. Bannon back helping Malpass. Good play from Provan, getting the cross in, but Neary spotted it. Good play from Paul McStay. Here's Martin McLeod. Well, McLeod always anxious to get a shot on target from that range. A lot of dig in both feet from that situation. Paul McStay did particularly well here, making space from that congested midfield, setting it up for McLeod. The shot much too high. Good header from Dodds. Bannon becoming more involved in that left flank for United, taking on Willie McStay. And a corner kick to United. Well, I'm sure that United fans want to see more of Bannon making those surging runs on the left flank. So Goff and Hegarty join the United attack. Bannon's corner. Hegarty at the far corner of the box. A rather hurried clearance from Roy Aitken. On his weaker side, the left, finding touch. The marking really is very close indeed. Milne did well. Ralph Milne again, getting support from Malpass. Bannon. Away from Willie McStay. The cross cut off by McAdam. Malpass lets it run for the United throw. But United certainly doing well in the opening stages of the match. They certainly posed some problems for Celtic. Good header by McLeod. Here's Burns. Bit of room to go forward into, and he's got McGarvey ahead. Still Tommy Burns. United have had time to allow the players to funnel back in defence. And the momentum has gone from that Celtic move. McAdam. Breaks from Bannon to McStay. Mary's header. Malpass couldn't collect it. Johnston. Now Willie McStay. Looking for McGarvey in the box. There's Mud Johnston. Well set up that move by Celtic. The driven ball at McGarvey, a cushion layoff for Johnston. That was promising for a moment, but the United defence still equal to the task. Willie McStay's pass back. So Celtic beginning a build-up from the back through midfield. Burns getting wide. McGarvey with Goff snapping at his heels. That's a United ball. McAdam turning quickly to win the ball from Sturrock. Good leap by Johnston. He gets up very well indeed against taller defenders. Put it straight through to McAlpine. McGrain kept his eye on the ball. Jim McLean, the United manager, right in the middle of the picture there in the director's box. Gordon Wallace beside him on the left, or on McLean's left. McGrain couldn't reach it. Ball skidding quickly off the damp surface. Sturrock screening the ball from McAdam. Little ball from BD to Kirkwood. Still Billy Kirkwood going forward, but Aitken again makes the important tackle at the back for Celtic. At the expense of a throw, keeping United in an attacking position. Richard Goff. Milne's header. No flag. The Celtic defenders hoping for an offside decision. Kirkwood to Bannon. Kirkwood again with a cross. It's gone over the goal line. Bending back into the top of the crossbar, but some good inventive play on the right from Dundee United. They looked very sharp indeed with some of that one-touch football coming forward.
I think Dundee United have got better ideas and more ideas when they come up the park. Celtic seem to be a bit lacking in ideas, and I think the two lads up front for Celtic should stay as far up as they possibly can and give the lads in midfield and at the back a bit more width to play in and a bit more depth as well.
Good header by Johnston. Bowen challenging, but Neri wins it. Billy Kirkwood is on the deck around the centre circle area after taking a knock in the head with that high ball. Kirkwood is just getting back to his feet. That's why McAlpine played the ball out, because Kirkwood was clearly in some distress. So some attention now for the United midfield player, Billy Kirkwood. It'll be a throw to Celtic when the match restarts. Well, Kirkwood's a tough player, all right. John Holt would be a straightforward replacement for United, but I'm sure they'll want to keep their substitutes for the later stage of the match, perhaps even for extra time. 5 years in a row we've had no result after 90 minutes in the Scottish Cup final. Proven now in the left for Celtic. With Johnston holding off PD. Not in a cloud. Kirkwood knocks the ball away. Tommy Barnes. Now McStay trying to find his brother Willie. Well, he managed it, but by an unorthodox route. Put in by Plovan. McGarvey goes down as Hegarty challenges, appeals for a penalty kick, but that, I fancy, would have been very soft indeed, and referee McGinley was not interested. Well, certainly some vociferous appeals among the Celtic players for this. Look out again. Hegarty coming across to challenge Frank McGarvey. Well, McGarvey appeared to go down very late. Didn't appear to be much in that, Kenny.
No, I think Frank realised he'd lost it and just tried his hand a wee bit. We're all the same, I'll try that from time to time.
Well, there's a very frank admission from Kenny Dalglish. So half an hour of the 100th Cup final gone. Still no scoring. And United perhaps happier with the opening half hour than Celtic, apart from the fact, of course, that they haven't got that vital opening goal. Richard Goff. Got it coming off McAdam. That's a good ball. McGrain was left by Milne's pace. Wasted ball inside by Ralph Milne. Easily picked up by Aiken. Splendid tackle by Goff on Barnes. And Sturrock is offside. Celtic defence pushing out. Still no scoring, incidentally, at Wembley between Everton and Manchester United. Any preferences there, Kenny?
Any predictions?
Any preferences for Everton or Manchester United?
It's still going to be us enemy, is it? I think the midweek match that Everton had will take a little bit out of them. I think Manchester United must be quite happy if I think it's just now.
Same position here at Hampden. 0-0 and Celtic on the attack. Here's Paul McStay running straight into Richard Goff. He's done well this afternoon, Richard Goff, in defence for United. The rain still falling heavily. The tackle this time from Dodds. Johnston's layoff. There's McGarvey. Stopped by Malpass. Mo Johnston's on the deck on the 18-yard line. Aiken was impeded by Milne as he came inside. That's a free kick to Celtic. And there may be a hold-up now because Mo Johnston is on his feet but looks not at all happy over in the far corner of the box as Aiken comes forward. That's Kirkwood. Now Beattie looking for support, holding play up. Good control from Sturrock. Ralph Milne, a lot of space on the right for United. Good tackle by McGrain. Very sharp indeed. Hopeful ball in by Kirkwood, taken by Paul McStay, and that pass releasing Davy Provan, puts pressure on United defence. Johnston appears to have recovered from that knock. And good defending by Neri. Very calm indeed in a crisis. Protesting about the attentions of McGarvey on McAlpine. And the free kick's been given.
It's a shame really neither goalkeepers had a save to make, because the atmosphere and the noise both sets of fans are making are tremendous. I mean, it's still a great occasion, and despite the fact there's not been a terrible amount of goal-mouth incidents, I think I'm really enjoying it anyway, and I'm sure most of the people out there are.
Yes, a very competitive cup final. Dodds going up with Aiken. Fine header by McLeod. Paul McStay now has room to create something for Celtic. Provan hugging that right touchline, taking on Malpass. McGarvey at the near post. It was well marked by Neary. Malpass very determined, but Provan judged that one correctly. The throw's been taken. McGarvey tangling again with Neary. Willie McStay. Well, a wasted cross by the Celtic fullback. He's very willing indeed to support the attack, Willie McStay. But the final pass on that occasion left a lot to be desired. Little nudge there by on McAdam. Aiken with the free kick. Burns has stayed deep. Immediately challenged by Kirkwood. That's where United are so tough to beat in midfield. They get these midfield men into defending positions very quickly indeed. Bannon to Dodds. The turn was well read by Willie McStay, and Dodds was enticed into that challenge, which gave the free kick to Celtic. Provan coming inside, brought down by Dodds. Very good, positive wing play by Davy Provan. Well, this can make the difference between victory and defeat. This kind of wing play. Provan coming inside, foul pass, he's brought down by Dodds. And it's a free kick which will be taken by Provan. Mary's overhead clearance, picked up by McGarvey. Very sure-footed David Neary. Hasn't missed many tackles this afternoon. Roy Aiken coming to support the midfield. 1-2 with Mother McLeod. The turn pass wasn't good enough. And McAdams' ball forward goes through to McAlpine. There's space now for Bannon. A chance to attack Willie McStay. And Mother McLeod providing the help. Well, the decision goes to United. McLeod helping Willie McStay as he was exposed to the pace of Bannon. Bannon again. Comes off Willie McStay for a United corner kick. United certainly looking very menacing when Bannon is in full flight on the left flank. United supporters must be growing in hope, I think. Here's Bannon. Checking inside Provan. Paul Hegarty. Back it comes to BD. Well, a fine shooting chance. Passed up by BD. Roy Aiken staying back to keep United onside, but the pressure is off the Celtic defence. Stuart Beattie missing another good shooting chance at the edge of the box. Brilliantly set up by Bannon and Paul Hegarty.
I think Stuart Beattie had one eye on Paul McStay there. As he went to hit it.
Mary's header. Beattie going in behind Burns, bundling the Celtic man to the deck. Willie McStay. Johnston going wide, the ball skidding away from him for the goal kick. Wallace Johnston had a shake of the head there. Some frustration, I've no doubt. He must be feeling the lack of service.
I don't think the service has been very good to the front two of Celtic, but I think at the same time the two lads themselves have got to make themselves available for the service.
Kirkwood's control wasn't good enough. Johnston stepped in. This is Burns now for Celtic. Beattie rescues the situation for United. Sturrock breaking on the right. Milne arriving on his outside. He's a decoy. Sturrock playing it in towards Dodds. Now Richard Goff. Milne. It's a good cross. There's Davy Dodds. And some splendid defending there by Tom McAdam. Well, that was a great move from United. Some excellent football. McGrain taken very late indeed by Kirkwood. McGrain's in trouble. His left ankle took the full brunt of that late challenge from Kirkwood. And referee McGinley will administer the first booking of the match. Well, that was a dreadful tackle by Kirkwood. Danny McGrain still in bad shape, and I think Billy Kirkwood clearly has no complaints. But that really was a fine chance, Kenny, for Dundee United. A good cross from Ralph Milne. Dodge coming in. That's great defending by McAdam.
But the tackle that followed it, I mean, that was something else. The tackle that followed it. If Danny McGrain's down wanting some treatment, he must be feeling it, I'll tell you. Even at his age.
Yes, McGrain certainly not known for any play acting in an injury situation. He really does appear to be in a lot of trouble. Well, let's hope there's no question of any of the Celtic men thinking in terms of reprisals. The quality of the match would certainly suffer. But McGrain fit to resume. I suppose in the mid-30s these knocks take a little bit longer to recover from. So 5 minutes of the first half left. Dundee United 0, Celtic 0. A very tense, competitive match still in progress. Burns going forward. United having plenty of cover and depth. And the other major final at Wembley still goalless between Everton and Manchester United. That's Kirkwood. Beattie stopped by McAdam, but there's Davy Dodds for United. Well-timed tackle by McStay, but Malpass was supporting. Forward pass, not very accurate, looking for Bannon on the left. Malpass' clearance goes out for the throw to Celtic. And still with 41 minutes of the match gone, neither goalkeeper called upon to make any direct saves. There have been some good attacks, but the defending has also been of a high quality, and there's another example as Neri wins it from Paul McStay. Aiken's header. Now Proven. Picked up easily by Hegarty. Here's Kirkwood. Looking for Sturrock through the middle. That's well read by McAdam. Martin McLeod. Proven has had to come very deep indeed to find some space. Neri first to the ball ahead of Johnston. A rare lapse in control from Paul McStay. So the match in these closing minutes of the first half. A time in the game when a goal could be crucial. It could make a vital difference to the run of the game. Jim McLean looking impassive in the director's box, the United manager. And I'm sure he'll have plenty to say at half-time. And this cue from Beattie. But he saved the situation himself with that good header. Back to McAlpine. And here's Richard Goff for United. Dodds beaten by Aiken. Aiken's missed nothing through the middle at all for Celtic. this afternoon. Dodge winning it back for United. Trying to use the pace of Milne. And he had enough to get there in front of Aiken. And Aiken is in trouble with referee McGinley. Well, Milne's tremendous pace in evidence in this incident. Just watch how he takes off here. Now, Aiken is no slouch himself, but Milne was going to win this race. Tremendous acceleration. Aiken coming across. Milne got a touch to the ball first, and Aiken came in late, but I couldn't really see any malice in the challenge. Well, Aiken wasn't booked. The referee had a word with him. But Ralph Milne is off the field now getting treatment. The referee insisting that the game goes on. So Eamon Bannon will take the free kick. Goff is in the box. Hegarty stayed back this time. It's Kirkwood. Good turn from Goff, but the ball again gathering pace off the surface, skidding away from him. So Celtic throw. Half time fast approaching. 0-0 still at Wembley. Goff's header. There's Beattie. Head flick on to Sturrock from Dodds. That's a fine tackle from McGrain. There's Bannon. And Sturrock was offside in any event. But Danny McGrain looking very sharp still, Kenny.
Yeah, I don't think he's 35. I think he's telling lies about his age there. He's recovered well enough from an off as well, so he seems to be all right. He'll be out there in the second half, I would imagine. But I think with the passing, I think that they need to play the ball along the floor a bit more. As soon as you put it up in the air, it bounces and it's off.
So the final minute of the first half. Bonner's goal kick. Still in the air off Stuart Beattie for the throw. But into time added on for stoppages. Half time at Wembley, it's 0-0 there. And the closing seconds now, the first half here at Hampden. The Celtic go forward. Beattie stopping McGarvey. And Bonner with lots of time to come out and send the ball forward to Aiken. United not pushing players on top of the back four for Celtic, and there goes the half-time whistle. The scoreline: Dundee United 0, Celtic 0. United perhaps with a slight edge on the balance of play in the first half. Don't go away, we'll be right back with Arthur Montford, our studio guest, in just a couple of minutes.
Welcome back to the Scotsport Cup final special, half-time both at Wembley and Hampden, and so far we're still waiting for our first Cup final go either north or south of the border. A chance for our two studio guests, Jock Wallace and Alan Gordon, to take a quick look back at one or two of the incidents from the first half in the 100th Scottish Cup final. Coming up now, a chance for Dundee United after only 17 minutes of the match. Free kick followed from David Narey here, and a menacing one, Alan.
Was indeed. Celtic defence went up for it in the book to Sturrock. Arthur, it was on his left side and he was just crowded out by a defender, but he followed the ball to the byline, tried to play it back across the goal, but again, good defensive work by Celtic, just crowding Sturrock out. But that was probably the first chance that Sturrock's had to put the ball in the back of the net.
Joe, you were making the point that although Celtic had a very good start, it was United who were actually making the chances.
Well, United have had 2 shots on target and Celtic have had 1 shot over the bar. I feel that Dundee need to get the ball past the first man. Their crosses are not getting past the first man. And they've done it once and they've got a good header from Dodds.
Yes, this is it coming up now, in fact. A good run by Ralph Milne. And this time he did, in fact, make some space for himself here.
Yeah. You see when he gets the ball and it's a good cross. Great head by Tom McCallum.
A lot of pressure, and particularly early on, there seemed to be a lot of nerves, didn't there, Alan?
It was always going to be tight, as Jock said, Arthur, and he was dead right. It has been a tight game. I had hoped for some goals by this time. It's not happened that way. It's been a tight match, and I think Celtic were the more impressive side in the first 15, 20 minutes or so. But then Dundee United play their typical defensive game very well, and they break fast on the flanks, and they're doing that now. And I get the impression that the longer the game goes on, the more it's going to go in their favour. The pitch is a bit difficult, but we've got a bit of rain now, and I think that's going to make it easier in the second half for them.
Right. No rain at Wembley. In fact, the sun's been shining right from the start at Wembley Stadium. The first £1 million gate at Wembley, a crowd of 100,000. Everton bidding for that unique treble. Manchester United standing in the way. A quick look at some of the first half highlights now, described for us by Brian Moore.
Gary Stevens with Everton's throw. Little long one searching into that Man United box. Oh, just wide from Peter Reid. Moran. Ratcliffe readjusting well, got his header in but didn't get much ground on it. Gidman curling it in, a good one. Oh, for a moment. Southall hesitated, he came and he hesitated. And either Hughes or Stapleton could have got a little touch there. Sharp again, or rather Bracewell now for Sharp. Bracewell. Reid. Stevens cut out there by Whiteside, finding Jesper Olsen, bringing Albiston nicely into it. Here come United again. Played him beautifully for Mark Hughes. The flag stays down. And tremendous work by Peter Reid. United looked really dangerous there because after Hughes had made his run, Whiteside and Stapleton had made a tremendous burst into that Everton penalty area. Trying to get it through to Bracewell. And then, of course, making his England debut, Harry Bailey, heading one through against the Republic of Ireland, which maybe he would prefer to forget. But now Stapleton. Hit well and save well.
And that all adds up to 0-0 at Wembley. Nothing happening at Hampden at the moment. The team is still in the tunnel. A good chance for us to take a short break. Welcome back to Scotsport Cup Final Special. As you can see, the team's not quite out at Hampden Park, but here they come now. And let's go straight back to our match commentary team of Jock Brown and Kenny Dalglish.
Thank you, Arthur. The sides, the Celtic side particularly, a tremendous reception. Here come United. And they too getting a very warm reception from the K-side fans. And some boos from the Celtic supporters also. Conditions have changed somewhat, and there's a very good view from the floodlighting pylon. Well, that's a very good view, but how they get back down, I'm not too sure. So the conditions have changed again since the half-time break. The sun has come back out, the rain's gone off. So the setting once again, the same as it was right at the start. It'll be United to kick off. United looking for their first ever Scottish Cup win. Celtic going for their 27th. So the Celtic fans have, for the most part, seen the Cup presented in the past to their favourites. Last time was in 1980. Well, tremendous support for Celtic, but it's United who get the second half underway. Referee Brian McGinley is satisfied. He's checked his watch, and away we go. Well, looking quickly for changes in the lineups, but no sign of any substitutions. Celtic have Brian McClure and Pierce O'Leary on the bench. United have Tommy Coyne and John Holt. So here's Aiken. More Barnes. Mo Johnston doing a bit of wrestling there with Malpass as he made the run. The free kick's been given to United. United with no fewer than 8 players on the side who played against Rangers in 1981. And that reflects tremendous continuity in their ranks. The only new players are Malpass, Gough and Beattie. And for those with memories, the players who played in these positions the last time around were Coppell, Phillip and John Holt. Well, United players have, for the most part, been through it all before, and they're very anxious to make up for the disappointment on that occasion, and of course the disappointment in the Skol League Cup final earlier in the season when they lost by 1-0 to Rangers. That's Beattie's challenge on Provan. Low makes Day's throw. McGarvey in trouble. It's picked up by Hegarty, and Kirkwood turning it back. Richard Goff. Dodge going in with Aiken. Aiken wins it, but it's United who have possession again. Dodge leaves it to Sturrock. Once again, a decisive challenge from Danny McGrain, inspiring his colleagues. That's a great turn from Johnston, brilliantly done, leaving Neary. He has Burns just behind him. I wonder if Burns could have done more for him by going on the outside. Here's McGrain. Burns is penalised for the nudge on Goff as the ball arrived. Bringing a shake of the head from Kenny Dalglish.
I'd like to see his decision if it had been in the box against the defender. I don't think he'd have given it then. It's the same rules apply outside as what do inside.
McStay's three's going well. This is Paul McStay. And Neary spotted that very early indeed. The fine pass from McStay towards Provan, but Neary's reading of the situation was excellent. And back in midfield, Paul McStay setting something up for Celtic. McGarvey has struggled on a number of occasions to keep his feet. McGarvey kept it in, but only for the benefit of Malpass. That's a good pass. Now Davy Dodds couldn't control it coming off the surface. Aiken. McGarvey tackled very quickly indeed again by David Neary. Bannon back helping out in defence for United. Here's Willie McStay. Bannon's tackle takes the ball to Paul McStay. And his pass missed out. Mo Johnston. That's been the problem for Celtic when they've come forward. They haven't been able to pick out Johnston and McGarvey in any space at all. Good header from Beattie. There's Kirkwood. Ball Sturrock. Had some space there if he'd been able to control the ball at the edge of the box. And Dundee United now have both their substitutes warming up. John Holt and Tommy Coyne are on the track. Sturrock bundled down by McAdam. So a free kick for Dundee United, and Milne is waiting for Goff and Hegarty to take up position in the box alongside Davy Dodds. Hegarty goes up, challenged by McAdam, and there was obstruction by Hegarty on McAdam, giving Celtic the free kick. No significant change in the pattern, Kenny, to start the second half?
No, I think it's just the same as it was in the first half. I think David Neary's dominating for Dundee United at the back, and Tom McAdam and Roy Aiken doing similar work for Celtic.
Well, we're still looking for that inventive piece of play, either from midfield or up front, which may change the course of the match. Paul McStay is one player who could provide it. Eamon Bannon's another. Now Aiken. Well taken by Paul McStay. Another positive run at the United defence. The corner kick off Maurice Malpass. David Neary with a cross covering two. Paul McStay still looks to be the Celtic midfield player most likely to succeed. McAdam on the near post. Aiken is also around the penalty spot area. United have deployed Hegarty on Aiken. Referee Brian McGinley spotting some activity around that near post area, which he didn't appreciate. Dodds and McAdam doing a bit of nudging and elbowing.
I think he's done Dundee United a favour there. It's just let them see that Murdo McLeod was lying clear there. I don't think they'll be able to work that corner kick this time.
So the corner kick has Burns and Provan. There's Burns playing it in. Johnston was up well. Good clearing header beyond Murdo McLeod. McGrain. Goff's header. It's picked up by McLeod again. Here's Paul McStay. Always manages to find some space in that midfield area. Going at Kirkwood. Provan on the touchline. That was Ralph Milne making the tackle. The United version of total football, everyone going back. Positions meaning nothing when the other side have possession. Dodds. There's Provan. Malpass cleared the ball, but Davy Provan was penalised for showing his studs as he tried to retrieve the ball, which had gone out of range. Switch to the United right to Richard Goff. Stark's header, here's Bannon. Danny McGrain is there to escort the ball out for the throw. Ralph Milne succeeding only in wasting a few more seconds as he played the ball away. Just the odd flash of Ralph Milne so far in the match. He may have been a player who had enough pace to trouble Danny McGrain at this stage in his career, but it hasn't worked out that way so far. Celtic captains had a good match. Played out by McGarvey. Kirkwood and McGrain clash. Not reminiscent of the tackle in the first half, which earned Billy Kirkwood a booking. Danny McGrain perhaps remembering that as he went into that challenge. But it's a United free kick. Pat Bonner organising his defence. Milne flights it in. It was won by McAdam again as Hegarty closed in. Bannon to Malpass. There's Dodds. It's away from Aiken. Inside to BD. 1-0 to United. Stuart BD. With 10 minutes of the second half gone. Oh, what a tremendous goal. Now just watch the contribution made here by Davy Dodds. Great control with the head, nudging the ball beyond Roy Aiken, turning, going away from the Celtic defender, outside the foot, flicking it inside for PD, and he steered the ball beyond Bonner to open the final.
It's a great show of strength from David Dodds. He just squares it, and Stuart Beattie placed it ever so nicely in the corner there. He took the goal really well. He knew exactly where he was, he knew where the goalkeeper was, just stroked it away.
Well, Stuart Beattie makes a vital contribution once again in the cup. He got the winner against Aberdeen in the semi-final replay, and now he's given United that vital lead in the final, and justified, of course, given McLean's selection for the exclusion of John Holt. The ball's got out on the far side. Ralph Milne couldn't control it. Well, that was the piece of inspired creative play which I mentioned earlier. It came from Davy Dodds in the end. And that has given United a lead which I'm sure they'll defend for the last ditch. So we've had the opening goal here at Hampden, but they're still waiting at Wembley for a goal. Everton against Manchester United, still 0 apiece. And here's Provan for Celtic. Provan again. Celtic will be anxious to hit back as quickly as possible. They will not want to allow United to settle on that lead, because they are very difficult indeed to beat when they are sitting on a lead comfortably. Aiken knows that, I'm sure, only too well, and so too does the man on the ball now, Danny McGrain. Here's McStay. He's away from Bannon. Willie McStay. McGarvey twisting and turning. Malpass keeping his eye on the ball. Bannon providing the help. Willie McStay goes down. The ball goes for the goal kick. No complaint from Willie McStay, and there are the happy United supporters in the West terracing. Well, they came very much in hope, and now they may well have some expectation. Scotland got a touch. Green did well despite the stumble. The free kick is against Billy Kirkwood. Grange free kick. Up goes Goff. Goff again in front of McGarvey. Kirkwood trying to get the ball beyond McGrain. He didn't quite make it. Well, Kenny, how do you see the game now with United in the lead?
I think Celtic will have to make a substitution shortly. They've got Brian McClare on the bench who's their top goal scorer, and I think it won't be too long before you see him coming on. I don't know who they'll take off. It's easy to sit here and criticise, but I think that if they're looking for a goal, they've got to bring on their top goal scorer. Tom McStay's trying to do a bit in midfield, but he's not really getting much support.
The Malpass going forward for United. He was elbowed there by Brother McLeod, so it's a free kick to United. Still no sign of activity on the Celtic bench. Milne playing it in first time. That could have been dangerous. Just too far ahead of Paul Sturrock. It to Goff. Well, remember, Dundee United have never before in their history won the Scottish Cup, and now they're in the driving seat. Still the early stages of the second half, but the first goal in a cup final always vital, and United have it. Paul Sturrock has lost his left boot. I'm sure the referee will insist that he replaces that or leaves the field. Here comes Hegarty from the back. Now Milne. Good tackle again from Danny McGrain. Sturrock. Well, Kirkwood took up good position, but the cross goes behind for a Celtic goal kick. Such an energetic, powerful player, Billy Kirkwood in midfield. And still at Wembley, there's no scoring. Breaks for Tommy Burns. Celtic haven't had a great deal from Burns this afternoon. A poor pass too. That's an occasion for a creative player like Tommy Burns, and he hasn't really contributed in the way that I'm sure the Celtic fans expected. Closely marked, of course, given no room at all in that midfield area. Billy Kirkwood in particular involved in that. There's David Odds dragging the ball to the corner flag, supported by Goff. Fine cross. The only man there for United was Ralph Milne. The ball was too high, and it's well taken out by McStay. There's Burns again. Good play from Provan. Stepping inside Goff. Burns looking for Willie McStay on the right. There's Buddy McLeod, beaten to it by Kirkwood. Celtic now trying to pile on the pressure. Robin's header, there's McGarvey. Hegarty not being tempted to anything rash, and the Malpass kept his eye on the ball for the clearance. Willie McStay wins it from Milne. Here's McGrain. Goff's clearance. Willie McStay took a knock, but he clashed with Milne in the centre circle. McGarvey's offside. United appear to be coping competently now with the Celtic attacks. McGarvey and Johnston cutting very little ice up front, although I'm sure they could claim that they haven't had much in the way of good passes. Goff lets it run.
Whereas Celtic, I think, have got to retain their composure a little bit, but at the same time try and force themselves forward. It'd be disastrous if they'd lost another one for Celtic. But at the same time, we've got to take a wee chance and try and get one back, the goal back.
Here's Milne with a cross. Dodds goes in, and Willie McStay was quick to react and turn it behind for the corner kick. And yes, Celtic forced now to expose themselves somewhat. They're a bit thin on the ground at the back on this occasion. The ball being played wide. In from Milne. Dodds was challenging fiercely, but Willie McStay kept his head. So here's Ralph Milne with the corner kick. Headed out by McAdam. Here's Mother McLeod. Picking out Burns, but the pass wasn't good enough. Kirkwood's ball forward. Picked up by Milne. The clearance finds its way, though, to Tommy Burns. Now McLeod. McGarvey's come deep. Paul McStay supporting. And Richard Goff closing in to turn it back to McAlpine. Celtic certainly had a lot of players forward on that occasion, but similarly United got many men back. And now they're on the break. Paul Sturrock. That's for Milne. Now Sturrock again. Claimed by Bonner as Dodds and Bannon appear on the far side of the box. McLeod to Bobbin. Nearly penalised for the foul on McGarvey. And now there will be a change shortly for Celtic. Brian McClare has appeared on the track. Ready for action, there he is. Can't quite tell who the man will be to come off. In fact, it is Tommy Burns who's coming off. Well, it certainly hasn't been the happiest of occasions for Tommy Burns. Hasn't really got going. Hasn't been able to impose himself with his creative talent in midfield. So on goes Brian McClare with 25 minutes of the final left. Celtic's top scorer appears. Mother McLeod takes the free kick. McAdam is well up. McLeod to McStay. Holding off Stuart Beattie. Well, I'm not quite sure whether Paul McStay tried the shot or the driven ball across the face of the goal on that occasion, but either way it went wrong.
It's nice to see Paul having a shot anyway. His leading up has been great, but I think once he's got round about the box, he's been a wee bit. I don't think his confidence is there to have a shot. Although that was a bad shot, it was nice to see him hit one.
McGarvey shouldered off the ball by Neary. And this time referee Brian McGinley has a word with the United player. Quick word in the passing. And a couple of fouls recently by Neary on McGarvey. So Celtic pushing all the big men forward as Provan takes the free kick. The header came from Roy Aitken, but posing no problems for Hamish McAlpine.
That's the closest Celtic have come in the last minute there. A header by Tom McAdam caused a little bit of excitement in the Dundee United goal mouth, and Roy Aitken's header there. That's the best. That's the closest they've come to scoring.
Yes, Hamish McAlpine enjoying the occasion. I think the referee hasn't been called upon to perform any heroics at all at any stage in the match. Celtic cover was there. Tom McAdam provided it for Danny McGrain. Provan giving chase, and here comes McAlpine, the auxiliary sweeper. Dodds lucky to see the ball reach Ralph Milne. Free kick's been given against McGrain. He caught Ralph Milne. Didn't appear to be a great deal in it, although Ralph Milne certainly took a knock. United content to slow things down, keep the tempo down and stay in front of Celtic now. That signified as a dive by the referee McGinley as Paul Sturrock went down. Well, the referee was well positioned for that, and not much complaint from the United players. As McClare brings it forward for Johnston. McClare heading to the byline. One a corner kick off Davy Dodds. McClare making an immediate impact for Celtic. McAdam and Aiken are up. Willie McStay also joining the attack. Robin is onside. With Davy Dodds got his head to it. The danger's not over. McAlpine challenging, and a free kick's been given. A bit of barging in the box right at the 6-yard line. So Provan with this very good out-swinging cross. Davy Dodds got his head to it. Then the pushing and bumping and barging started. McAlpine at full stretch, and the free kick was given. There's Mara McLeod. And McAdam. Collected by McGrain. Flag goes up against McGarvey. Now that looked to be a very tight decision indeed. McGarvey disagrees clearly, and from this angle that may well have been onside. Kenny?
It didn't look offside from here, but we're not the lad with the flag. The guy down there's got the flag, and it's up to him to make his mind up.
So some more frustration for Celtic, but here's Paul McStay. Couldn't get the ball beyond Goff. McLeod winning it back from Milne. Good tackling again by Neary. He's never been far away from Frank McGarvey this afternoon, David Neary, and he's played superbly. Kirkwood to Milne. Sturrock was offside.
Play on.
The referee allowing play to continue because Celtic have possession. Here's Mo Johnston. That was well read by Hegarty, kept his eye on the ball. Could have been very dangerous indeed for United. McGrain to Johnston. McStay. The layoff came from McGarvey. There's McGrain. Well, good play by the Celtic captain, linking up with the attack. And what a welcome that would have had out round the net. Some good build up here. McGarvey had a great layoff back into the path of McGrain coming forward. Snatched at the shot rather, and it went wide.
That's been Celtic's best move in the whole game. Might be something to look forward to.
So that's a throw to Dundee United. They have Holton Coyne down there on the track warming up, but I doubt whether they'll make any change at this stage in the match. Things appear still to be running United's way. Bannon. Here's Dodds. Sturrock tried to get back on side, didn't quite make it. Free kick to Celtic. Kenny, United's performance very controlled indeed.
I think it's been ideal for a cup final. They've been very solid at the back, and they look as if they're going to create something when they got upfield. Every one of them are working very hard for each other, and they're gaining their success as a team. Although I think David Neary's been their outstanding player.
McGrain still trying to get forwards. Well, Danny McGrain hasn't found the net all season, and that's 2 good attempts in as many minutes. Well, he comes again, setting up the chance himself. Hit that one well, kept it down, but McAlpine was there. And McGrain trying to inspire the Celtic finish. Eamon Bannon has certainly covered a lot of ground for United this afternoon. Getting as Rich is saying, they've all worked very hard indeed, and so far they've had a reward. They're in the lead, and here's a chance again for United. Milne to Kirkwood. They have players in the box. One of them is Davy Dodds. Came off Willie McStay, and Sturrock couldn't reach it. Celtic, with so many players committed to attack, living a little dangerously at the back. The player. The tackle came from Malpass, getting the ball in front of Plovan. United leading by 1-0. The goal scored by Stuart Beattie 10 minutes into the second half, and still no scoring in the FA Cup final at Wembley. Once again, frustration for Celtic, this time for Brian McClure in particular. Back it goes to McAlpine. Taking under pressure from Sturrock and from Davy Dodds. Willie McStay forced into the tackle. Sturrock screening it, working hard at the corner flag, but he's penalised. It's a Celtic free kick, and I think Paul Sturrock will be in trouble. The referee wants a word with someone. One of the players is going to be spoken to, or indeed booked, and it's Willie McStay, not Paul Sturrock. I really can't think what the offence was which incurred the wrath of the referee, although there was perhaps a suggestion of a retaliatory jab towards Paul Sturrock when the free kick was given. It's going to be a second substitution for Celtic. Paul McStay's been carrying an injury, and I think he will be replaced. Willie McStay's been booked, but it's Paul McStay who's causing the problem now for Celtic. Paul McStay is coming off. Well, boos and whistles from the Celtic supporters, but I think they may have missed the fact that McStay has been complaining of an injury. Pierce O'Leary goes on.
I think it's not because Paul's not been playing well. He's probably been our best player. It's just the fact he picked up an injury just about 5 or 10 minutes ago, and he showed out to the bench that it was hurting him, and obviously they've got to take him off. They can't afford to carry anybody when they're 1-0 down.
Well, United coming forward again. Davy Dodds slipping away from Tom McAdam, but here's Pierce O'Leary back in central defence. The change Celtic have made is to put Pierce O'Leary beside Tom McAdam at the back and push Roy Aitken into midfield. So the new Celtic midfield is McClair, Aitken and McLeod. So 15 minutes left. Can Celtic save the match? Here's McClair. Davy Plovan.
Offside.
Davy Dodds, yes, offside is given. The ball was played forward. So United are just 15 minutes away from the first occasion in their history when they've won the Scottish Cup. And at the moment, they certainly appear to be holding their lead with a degree of comfort, which must be disturbing for the Celtic fans. No doubt at all about it, there's been a tremendous blow in the loss of Paul McStay. Bannon. Good pass from Willie McStay. Here's Davy Plovan. Johnston challenging with Hegarty. Here's Richard Goff, and he'll get the throw off Murdo McLeod. So very anxious Celtic dugout. Frank Connor leaning forward there. Neil Mochan is there with Davy Hay hidden in the middle. United get the throw. That's to the disgust of Danny McGrain. Paul Sturrock doing well to make the turn, but no one there for the cross except Pat Bonner. Here's McGarvey, followed by Neary. Roy Aitken up with the attack. Here's Murdo McLeod, a shooting chance for McLeod. Brought down by Bannon. Well, McLeod lost his first chance at the shot. Overrun the ball slightly, but he now has another chance outside the box. Jim McLean, the United manager, I'm sure, concerned about this situation. And Mother McLeod had a couple of opportunities here to have a shot at goal, tried to create even more room and was brought down by Bannon. Now Celtic have McLeod and Provan, who are deadly from this situation.
They only want the goalkeeper to at least make a save here. They've got to get on target.
I fancy it may well be Provan. He's the man who can bend them from this situation. Perfectly stopped by Provan. And that's the flash of inspiration Celtic required. 13 minutes from the end. A perfect free kick from Davy Provan. Well, this is one we'll see many times. A five-man wall, Provan taking it perfectly, curving the ball into the top corner, McAlpine with no chance at all.
I tell you what, if that's a Continental that scores a goal like that, they'll talk about it for years to come. There's no way a goalkeeper can save that. But I think they're very lucky still to win the game, Celtic.
Oh, a flash of genius from Davy Provan brings the Celtic supporters to life. And that certainly was required because Celtic appeared to be looking beaten. United were well in control, they had the game well in hand, playing with poise and control, and suddenly a free kick outside the box, and Provan delivers the perfect reply. So now we face once again the prospect of extra time. Well, Celtic now perhaps will be lifted by that and inspired to look for the winning goal. There's Gough holding off McLeod.
I think it'll be a great... Sorry, John. I think it'll be a great strength of character now for Dundee United. I don't know if they firmly believed if they would win or not.
So tremendous drama here at Hampden. Stuart Beattie's now going off, having scored that vital opening goal. He's being replaced by John Holt. There's drama too at Wembley, but not by means of a goal being scored. There's still no scoring, but Kevin Moran of Manchester United has just been ordered off. So 10 men from Manchester United against Everton in the closing stages. And here at Hampden, Dundee United, who look to have the Scottish Cup well won, have to win it all over again. And here's the man who made the difference, Davy Provan. Now Johnston, tackled by Mary. Johnston's onside. McAlpine challenged by McGarvey. There was no free kick given there. That would have been all right had it broken to a Celtic player. McAdams' header. Here's Davy Dodds. Provan screening the ball from Malpass. Aiken's charged forward on the right. There's Roy Aiken. Cleared across the face of the goal, a chance there from the clear, a fleeting opportunity. And United now suddenly on the rack. Well, what a transformation. We've seen it before, of course, many times, a goal making an enormous difference to the run of a match. O'Leary lofting it forward. Played on, but McGarvey's onside, and McAlpine saves Dundee United. Well, the best chance of the match falls to Frank McGarvey. It was Maurice Johnston challenging in the air who set up the chance. McGarvey was onside. McAlpine stood his ground and got his reward. Now back with Provan. Here's Danny McGrain. Willie McStay was signalling for the ball at the far side. Johnston took it. Turned out by David Mary, and Celtic now in full tie. O'Leary and McAdam making the way forward. They're waiting now for Provan to come across to take it. McAdam is outside the box, O'Leary right in the thick of it. So is Roy Aiken around the penalty spot area. Provan's outswinger this time. McAlpine's committed. Well, runs across the face of the goal. There's no taker for Celtic, and suddenly, for the first time in the match, United look ragged in defence. The ball going right across the face of the goal. It was Roy Aitken who got the vital touch. Still, the pressure is on Dundee United. Celtic sensing victory, and that would be from the jaws of defeat. Holt into space now for Milne. United hitting in the break. Milne with lots of pace. Well, how about that for a tackle from Danny McGrain? Totally determined. His timing was excellent. A fair bit of pace in these old legs yet. The player back in defence. Sean Holt battling hard, doing a good job for United. Here's Davy Dodds. Sturrock going through. Bonner coming off his line very quickly indeed, with McGrain escorting it towards him. So United not taking this situation, lying down. Good build-up. Bannon, Dodds towards Sturrock. Just out of reach for Sturrock.
Since Celtic scored after 3 close calls into United, I think they'll have to be careful. They're going to be losers cup tie here, which at one time would be on Celtic.
And what a tremendous finish. We're enjoying to the 100th Scottish Cup final. Time running out in the 90 minutes. And fitness may well become a crucial factor as the game goes on. O'Leary giving that away to Billy Kirkwood. Here's Milne. Plenty of depth in defence provided that time by Tom McAdam for Celtic. So 6 minutes left. Can either side snatch a winner? David Neary. Applied at full stretch. Falls kindly for Celtic. Willie McStay. Neary up early to win that from McGarvey. The head tennis, finishing with Hegarty's clearance, which Aiken returns. The header from McGarvey! Frank McGarvey! 2-1 to Celtic. McAlpine left without a hope. And this was Roy Aitken's contribution. Winning the ball on the right. Now that's a marvellous cross. McGarvey in his own, flying at the ball. The header beating McAlpine comprehensively. Well, you cannot do anything other than feel sympathy for Hamish McAlpine in particular and the United players, but Frank McGarvey steps in with his 22nd goal of the season, and that's the one which looks likely now to take the cup back to Celtic Park. 5 minutes left. There's Milne, turned behind by McAdam, helped on its way by O'Leary for a United throw, but in fact there's trouble for Ralph Milne. Well, what a dramatic end to the match.
Since Roy Aitken's moved into midfield, I think it's been Celtic's best part of the game. And that's no reflection on how Paul McStay was playing. He was probably their best player. But Roy's given them a lot of drive and a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of strength in there. And really, since he's moved there, they've been all over Dundee United.
So the booking was in fact for Danny McGrain, the Celtic captain. So now it's a test of United's courage and determination, and Davy Dodds losing the ball in the box to Pierce O'Leary. The header from Hegarty and a brilliant save from Bonner. What a finish to the match. Well, there's just no let up in the action. The game has burst to life in the final 20 minutes or so. Great long throw taken away by O'Leary. The header in from Hegarty, turned over by Bonner. Up goes Goff. Cleared by the clear only as far as Kirkwood. United are down to 10 men. Milne sending it in there. Sturrock trying to guide the ball on, but it's Davy Dodds who's off the field. He took the knock, trying to snatch the equaliser. And a face knock for David Odds. United with 10 men for the moment.
I think you said David Odds lost the ball in the box. I think he's lost more than the ball. I think he's lost consciousness in there. But that just sums up this total commitment to the game.
Garvey's head flick, there goes Johnston. Mo Johnston must have been thinking that this was his second year unlucky. He lost it in the final at Wembley last year to Everton for Watford and was trailing for so long to Dundee United this time, but now just minutes away from a first Scottish Cup winners medal. There goes Provan, won by Malpass. David Odds is back on the field, incidentally. There's David Odds. Still looking a bit groggy. United still getting forward. Here's Bannon. Just 2 minutes left. And just to confirm, that's Roy Aitken's tackle. What an important part he's played for Celtic. And just to let you know, if the match finishes on the 90 minutes here at Hampden, and there's extra time at Wembley, we'll be going there quickly to see Everton against Manchester United. Remember, a 10-man Manchester United with Kevin Moran ordered off. There's Malpass. Fine effort from Maurice Malpass. That had Pat Bonner scrambling across his line. Started at the throw-in, the long ball in, the header out, falling to Malpass, and Bonner very relieved to see that go wide.
I think the cameraman was relieved as well, he missed it.
It's time up at Wembley. There's extra time now in progress at Wembley. Everton against Manchester United. We're going into the closing moments here at Hampden. Celtic leading by 2-1 and just 1 minute left. Can United save the tie? Save the final? They've won the corner kick. There's been a little bit of time which will be added on for stoppages, but this will be one of United's last opportunities, undoubtedly, to stay in the final. Headed clearance from Mother McLeod. Milne to Bannon. Inside now to Kirkwood. A lofted ball forward, carefully watched by Bonner. Good handling. The sort of goalkeeping which boosts the confidence in the defence in front of them. So the Celtic fans now whistling, looking for the final whistle. McGarvey still battling hard, forcing McAlpine to come off his line. Kept the ball in play, and we're now going into time added on for stoppages. United will certainly, surely be one of the most unlucky losers of all time if they lose this match, as they look bound to do now. Time is the enemy. Celtic leading by 2-1. A transformation in the last 15 minutes. We're just seconds away from Davy Hayes' first major win in his career as Celtic manager. Whatever it is that'll be. There's the final whistle. Celtic have won the Scottish Cup. The celebrations begin. David Hay coming off the bench, enjoying his first moment of triumph as the Celtic manager. Saluting the Celtic supporters. Danny McGrain seen it all before, but I don't think he's enjoyed a win any more than this. And in the midst of all these Celtic celebrations, we must spare a thought for the defeated side, Dundee United. They held the edge for fully 75 minutes, took the lead, looked at the match in hand. But in the end, that flash of inspiration from Davy Provan from the free kick, and then from Roy Aitken and Frank McGarvey, turned the match back to Celtic.